I'm Case. I built one of the highest rated meal prep businesses in the country, starting with no money experience or connections. I made every mistake, figured it out. Now I give you the playbook so you can skip the painful parts. Meal prep software, business automation systems, private groups, an AI clone in my brain. You can pick 24/7, one-on-one consulting, free resources, courses, and more. Everything you need is at mealprepis101.com. Links in the show notes. Now let's get into it.
What is going on, eaters and feeders? Welcome to the Event Rockstar Series, where I teach you how to shine like the rock star you are at events, demos, lunch and learns, parties, and shindigs that your meal prep business attends so you can maximize your impact and your profit for your efforts. In this episode, we are going to be discussing what you should and shouldn't be doing during the event. We've gone through how to set up for the event, and now it's game time. We are on the field, we are laced up, we've got our helmets on, and we are ready to make our first play. Question is, are you ready? The answer is, you will be after this episode. Now, I've got experience in all sorts of different products, all sorts of different mediums. My background basically started with in-person sales, and then eventually I owned a call center. I've done stuff through a myriad of different mediums, from email, phone, in-person, chatbots, printed flyers, all sorts of stuff. So this is probably one of my most favorite, the in-person sales. You're able to make such a strong and valuable connection with people if you do it the right way. It's all about engagement, and especially with in-person sales, you have to engage with people. It's sometimes uncomfortable. There's so many people have an inclination to be an introvert. You want to make them feel welcome. You want them to feel comfortable. You want to be able to bring them in and make it about them. You want to start off by engaging them the right way. You want to ask the right questions throughout the process. This isn't about you just talking. While there is some consistency in what you say and how you say it that you will definitely benefit from, what you have to really appreciate is this is a back and forth. You definitely want to extract some pertinent information from them, but you want them to feel like this is an organic thing that they're having with a new friend they just met who happens to work for a service that they are going to look forward to being a customer of. What you say and how you say it is crucial, as are the questions you ask. A great opening question whenever someone comes up is to ask them if they've been on a meal prep program before. Have you tried a meal prep program before? Are you on a meal prep service? If they say no, you might say something like, well, this is your lucky day. Or you might want to prospect a little bit deeper. Are you familiar with what a service is? Are you familiar with meal prep services? If they say yes, ask them who. Who are they on? Who have they been on? What do they not like? What would they improve about the service if they could? Be aware of your competition, their shortcomings and their strengths, but try to never badmouth them because it's not a good look. It makes you look insecure, it makes you seem too aggressive, and it makes you seem unsincere. It makes you seem biased. You want them to feel almost as if you would recommend another meal prep service if it was better for them. You want them to be able to trust you. Because if they don't trust you and they think that you're just trying to sell them and push an agenda, they're going to be turned off. They're going to take your food, take your flyer, and be like, I'll reach out, I'm out of here. Don't get stuck trying to over-educate them. Don't tell them every single aspect about your company. You've got a finite amount of time and bandwidth. You've got a lot of people to talk to, so stick to your elevator pitch. Hit your strengths, hit your differentiators, get in, get out, and then if they have follow-up questions, then you answer them one at a time. Don't start talking about vegan and gluten if they aren't asking about vegan and gluten. You've got a crowd of people you're going to be talking to that day. Save your voice, save your time, and don't put them through it. They don't want to hear a pitch about something they don't care about. If they have a question, prompt them for it, and they will ask it. Check out my video on elevator pitches and design your own. Get it down to maybe having a couple of different versions, a 30-second, a 60-second, maybe in a minute and a half, but keep it simple, keep it focused, keep it dense with value. Respect the time of the other people there and respect your vocal cords. You want to make sure you roll into the special promotion or whatever the offer is. If the employees are getting a special discount, or if you're doing a giveaway, if 1 out of every 50 people who signs up is going to get $50 off the meal prep program, whatever it is, make sure each and every person you engage with knows that. But after you discuss what you do best, what makes you different, and what value you provide to them, and what value you provide to your members so they can be enticed to become one. Another great question, if they say that they're not on a meal prep program, is to ask them what they normally do for lunch. especially if you're in a work environment. After the first couple of questions, people will start telling you, oh, there's a Burger King down the road, oh, there's a Chipotle down the road, and you can start throwing that into your future conversations to show them that what the tendencies are for that building. So what do you normally do for lunch? You brown bag it, or you hit the Chipotle down the street like everybody else? Now, on a side note, while I tell you not to talk trash about your competition as far as other meal prep companies, you can go balls out on all these big corporations. People are way more understanding and accepting of you trash talking against what we already know is garbage. Highlight the negatives about anybody. I don't care who it is. Oh, you go to Chipotle? Man, sodium up to here, right? Try not to come from a judgmental place. Try to make it seem like you're right there in the boat with them. Maybe, man, I used to love Chipotle too until I read the macros and saw how much sodium they're pumping into that stuff. Whether or not they were aware of the sodium levels, now they're going to be conscious of them. Assume that you're talking from an informed perspective and they're just going to go right along with you. Start feeling a little guilty and putting a little bit more doubt into what they're already doing, recognizing the problem themselves, not feeling like you're telling them they're wrong, but allowing them to find that conclusion on their own and then say, so this is a problem, now I need to find a solution. This looks like the solution. Let me hear more. Ideally, you want to try to get them to fill out the contact form before they spin the wheel. I mentioned this before, but the gist of it is if they get a crappy prize on the wheel, they're going to feel less inclined and obligated to sign up for it. Whereas if there's still that potential of them getting that big grand prize that's on one of those triangles on that wheel, they're gonna be like, oh, let me hurry up and sign so I get to spin. Make it fun, make it loud, bring attention to it. This is a great opportunity to bring other people in. They're gonna see that wheel going, they're gonna see you clapping, they're gonna see the excitement building, and they're gonna be like, man, I wanna win something. I don't even know what that is, but I know if I spin something, I could win something because that's what I've been trained to do. Let me go over there and just spin it mindlessly. If it lands on a crappy prize, be funny and just look around and be like, you don't tell my boss, I won't tell my boss, and just move it over to the next somewhat decent prize. Don't move it right to the grand prize necessarily, but like kick it over so they're just like, oh man, this person's helping me out, whatever. It's all about the experience and your engagement with them. So if you make them feel a little special, you're joking around, introducing some humor, which is always ideal, it's going to definitely start fostering that feeling of connection with your brand and your company way sooner in the relationship. And that's a crucial word. Remember, you are establishing relationships with these people. You aren't just conducting sales opportunities and trying to convert people into money. You are establishing relationships. If some people are further out and they look like they're interested but a little hesitant, lock eyes with them, invite them in. Hey, come help me eat this food. I've got too much food. You're looking pretty lucky today. How about you take a spin? You can only win. Be an extrovert, even if you have to fake it. Trust me. By nature, I am very introverted. I am not what I would consider a people person, but I know that there's no benefit to being an introvert, so I aggressively fake it and I try to make it seem like I am naturally an extrovert and I love talking to people. Once you get that momentum going, once you get comfortable, once you get warmed up, it's much easier to do, and it actually feels amazing when you're having these awesome engagements, especially when you're bringing a smile to people's face, hopefully making them laugh, giving them some amazing food, and getting them excited about getting on your program. People don't bite. Some do. Sometimes you got to pay extra. Speaking of biting, it is okay to eat the food as long as you do it in a hygienic way. And honestly, sometimes it pulls people in. When they see you eating the food, that tells them that it's good food and they feel like they have that little secret with you. They see you nibbling on some food. They feel like you're not supposed to be doing it because you're on the job and you're working. You act like you get caught and just be like, don't tell anybody. I can't stop eating these. They're so good. Something like that, really entice them in on it. Not only is it a great opportunity to introduce some humor and some personability, but it also feels a little bit intimate when you catch somebody sneaking something and they're doing something maybe they're not supposed to do, but it's really not harming anybody, and you're like, come on, you have one too. You caught me, now you gotta have one. One thing I've found is it's sometimes hard to get someone to start eating the food, but I assure you, once you have one person start, the rest will follow, but nobody wants to be the first one. So a lot of times I'll loudly try to coax in the icebreaker. I'll offer some kind of special coupon or discount, or like, who's going to be the first? What I find is often effective in these situations is just begging people, be like, someone's got to be first. Who's going to break the ice? Who's going to be the first one to take a bite? Tell you what, I'll give you $50 credit if you're the first one to sample the food. Remember, lines create crowds, create curiosity. But you can't have a crowd without a line. You can't have a line without that first person. So that's crucial sometimes to getting the engines running. The sooner you get that, the sooner everything starts flowing in. Sometimes these events start slowly. It's just like going to a party. When people first start showing up at the party, they're a little sheepish, then they start walking around, they start saying hi to everybody, they start getting introductions. Then by the end of the night, everyone's comfortable, everyone's laughing, everyone's loud, everyone starts turning into an extrovert. It's a very similar situation. These events, sometimes it's a lot of employees that don't often engage with each other. No one wants to be seen as the person who's running up and just hoarding all the food. As much as they are very curious to come up and try it, they don't want to be that first person. So when it's a crowd, it's more acceptable. They're able to all start filtering in. So the sooner you grab one person, the sooner you're going to have 2, 3, 4. Now you've got a line, now you've got a crowd, and now you are getting contacts. You are having great conversations. And what's great about having these crowds is if someone has a question in that crowd, it might be answered by them eavesdropping on another one of the conversations or questions that you're answering, which cuts down on how many times you have to repeat yourself and say your shtick, and it ends up saving your vocal cords, which I can't stress enough. Sometimes after these engagements, my vocal cords are shot. So definitely try to avoid repeating yourself if it isn't absolutely necessary. You guys have probably heard me talk about how important humor is. It's a major differentiator, and it is a silver bullet in everything from sales to ongoing customer service, interacting with your employees, everything. Humor just makes things better, and not a lot of people are naturally funny. Not a lot of people put themselves out there to be funny. So if you're not naturally an extrovert, or if you're not naturally funny, try to come up with some one-liners that you can go to and some little things that you can pull out of your pocket to use and introduce that humor element to your engagement, especially when you're doing the face-to-face stuff. Because if you can start getting some people to laugh, even if other people that haven't heard that joke, they're just going to naturally assume that's what's going on over there. Let me go over to where people are laughing and having fun, because that other booth where the guy's trying to sign me up for a Costco membership, nobody's laughing. That other one over there where they're trying to sign me up for AAA, nobody's laughing. This one over here looks like they've got food, a prize wheel, some bright, pretty pictures, and people are laughing. What the hell am I missing out on? And finally, you guys know how big I am on referrals. Well, it applies to events as well. Let's say the setting is a health fair or a wellness fair at a corporate building, and they're sending people down from upstairs. It's a call center or an admin building or whatever else. Tell everybody, once they've raved about how great your protein balls are or whatever the hell they're eating, tell them to send more people. Here's another little one-liner. Chef cries when I bring food home. I need help eating all this. Send more people. Tell them how good it is. And I assure you, after 20 minutes, you're going to start getting waves of people saying, oh, this is the food place I heard so much about. I was told I had to stop working and come down and help you eat this food. I heard it was amazing. So-and-so is raving about it upstairs. I brought my own lunch and I wasn't planning on coming down here, but I heard I can't miss this. Did so-and-so also mention you can win $50 by simply spinning that wheel? You get a special rate just by being an employee, and you are talking to the best name in the meal plan game. We got you through the event. Now it's all done. It's over, right? Wrong. Now it really begins. So join me in the next episode and we will discuss what you will be doing after the event.